2023 Rugby World Cup. Jordan's hat-trick sends New Zealand through to final. New Zealand and Rugby World Cup success often go hand in hand with one another, but this run that the All Blacks are currently on has got to feel just that little bit better. In a semi-final fixture at the Stade de France, which lacked much for drama but had plenty of dynamic play from the three-time world champions, New Zealand, paced by a second-half surge, annihilated Argentina to move on to its fifth World Cup final ever with an extra day's rest to boot when the All Blacks face the winner of the England-South Africa semi-final Saturday. There were doubts that New Zealand entering, and even during, the World Cup could perform at the high, trophy-capturing level it used to. But since losing its opening match, NZ has been stellar and toppled foes one by one, and only one more is left standing between it and its ability to lift the Webb Ellis Cup once again. The All Blacks rolled to a 44-6 demolition in suburban Paris in an oppositely toned match to the pulsating quarter-final round, inching one step closer to World Cup history. Here's a look at how New Zealand did it to get back to the final for the first time since 2015. All Blacks are back. From an all-time low spot of 5th in the world rankings just over a year ago to being on the cusp of what would be a record-breaking 4th Webb Ellis Cup, New Zealand, since losing its opening match of the World Cup to host France, has unleashed a devastating newfound edge that looks much like the dominant squads from Oceania of old. Coach Ian Foster's side stomped an Argentina team which had twice beaten the All Blacks since the last World Cup at the Stade de France to be the first country to book its place in next weekend's World Cup final as the world's most successful rugby nation left no doubt on the pitch that they deserved to be there. Much will, rightly so, be talked about Will Jordan and his incredible performance, and this story will get to that in a little bit, but after humiliation by the Pumas in Christchurch in August 2022, when Argentina defeated the All Blacks in New Zealand soil for the very first time, Friday night's victory in particular felt like a full-circle moment for New Zealand as it rid itself of prior demons and doubts in an emphatic way. Argentina did not score a try and was held scoreless in the second half as the All Blacks put on a vintage knockout round performance worthy of being placed among their many, many triumphs with stakes to play for in the past. Jordan and Jordie Barrett each crossed over for tries in the opening 20 minutes, and when Emiliano Bofelli kicked through his second penalty of the match in the 35th minute to make it 12-6 New Zealand, potentially setting the Pumas up for only being one score and a conversion away from taking the lead entering halftime, it looked as if Argentina was going to be stubborn and prevent the All Blacks from pulling away. Then the floodgates opened. A Richie Mo'unga penalty and the first of two tries from Shannon Frizzell happened before the intermission to put New Zealand back in clear control by multiple tries, 20-6. Then Aaron Smith and Frizzell scored again within the opening 10 minutes of the second half as the All Blacks stomped on the gas pedal. Jordan's final two tries of the match in the final quarter were merely extra icing on a sweet night for New Zealand as it ripped Argentina apart to cruise into the final. Jordan rules. All Will Jordan has done in his debut World Cup has equaled the single tournament try-scoring record that is jointly shared by two of his countrymen, and he has a game left to break the mark. The Crusaders' superstar, only aged 25, has what he and his country hope to be a long and fruitful career ahead of him, but even by New Zealand's lofty standards, Jordan is smashing glass ceilings. Following his hat-trick against the Pumas, Jordan has now scored 31 tries in 30 total test matches with the All Blacks, a blistering pace of over a try per match that would easily make him the country's all-time leading try scorer, currently 49, held by former Blues and Munster wing Doug Howlett, in a few years' time. Jordan's opening try that put New Zealand in front after an early Pumas penalty proved to be a gloomy sign of things to come for Argentina, and his pace and anticipation during New Zealand's unanswered run of 7 consecutive tries was nothing short of world-class. He passed up France's Damien Penaud as the competition's top try scorer, but what he'll be aiming for in the final will be something more hallowed: the all-time single tournament record. With 8 tries in France, Jordan has now tied legendary Kiwis Jonah Lomu, 1999, and Julian Sevilla, 2015. As well as South Africa's former bullet on the wing, Brian Habana, 2007, for the most in one go, and though the humble Jordan likely won't be one to flaunt it, He'll undoubtedly be a major part of Foster's plans during his final match as All Blacks boss before Jordan's former club coach at the Crusaders, Scott Robertson, takes over in the dugout after the World Cup. Nonetheless, no matter who is in charge of team selection and tactics for New Zealand in the near future, Jordan has clearly proven throughout the past 7 weeks that he is a near untouchable name on the team sheet whenever the All Blacks are to suit up. Pumas can be proud. It's been a banner World Cup for South American rugby, so while there's understandable disappointment in the Argentine dressing room for its failure to qualify for the World Cup final on its third trip to the semi-finals, the Pumas, along with the rest of the rugby scene on the continent, can unquestionably hang their heads up high. Their fight back from 10 points down to stun Wales in the quarter-finals was an admirable performance, and though there was little that was likely stopping the electric All Blacks at the Stade de France in the semi-final, a host of questionable refereeing decisions in the first half from Australian official Angus Gardner didn't exactly help Argentina's cause and its will to fight on and grind away back into the match, either. Nevertheless, the Pumas will play on in next week's third-place match against the loser of the other semi-final on Saturday night, hoping to leave France after having matched their best-ever World Cup performance of third place, which was also earned in France at the 2007 edition of the tournament. Additionally, for the future, as South American rugby continues to grow, Argentina's profile and respect on the international stage is and will further expand and help make countries around it better, too, such as through continental rivals Uruguay, who won a Pool A game against Namibia, and debutants Chile, which played the Pumas in Pool D as two South American nations squared off at a World Cup for the first time. Argentina has clearly found new life under former Australia boss Michael Cheika, who was appointed as coach in March 2022 and near immediately improved the Pumas' form. And with assistant coach and former national team legend Felipe Contepomi taking over after the World Cup, the Pumas would love nothing more than to keep the good vibes going, and build back for Australia 2027 even stronger. Thanks for watching NY Sports News. Stay tuned for more updates.